Good afternoon, everyone. Global crop failures continuing. Australia, the worst harvest ever recorded. Indonesia, Vietnam, China, South Korea. Look for another source. Your wheat is gone. UK headlines shaking up farming. Oh, get ready for food disruptions. Just an early warning. Caspian Sea yet again blanketed areas. Iran, record snow. Saudi Arabia suffering record-breaking cold ice storms. In Syria, and cleaning up air pollution has made winters milder. You don't get the albedo effect. Harsh winters are gone. It's not CO2. It's clean skies. The Wall Street Journal reported hackers are ramping up attacks on retirement accounts. And this has made Americans realize that the amazing returns on the stock market through the last 10 years, that retirement accounts in particular can be a hacker's dream, and they're not checked nearly as often as other financial accounts. And as we head toward an election and the U.S.-China trade war taking now a backseat to Asian supply chain disruptions, Brexit, and concerns over cyber threats, only one investment stands out: gold. Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs top-rated gold IRA dealer 4 years in a row, 2016 through 2019. And Patriot Gold Group has the no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver, and you work directly with an owner to avoid paying absurd broker fees. Call today to request a free gold and silver investment kit, or click the link in the description box below, patriotgoldgroup.com. Over here on Zero Hedge, global crop failures continue. Australia, this is going to be the worst harvest year ever recorded. So the summer output, obviously in the southern hemisphere, it's summer now. Northern hemisphere, it's winter. As we head into spring, they're heading into autumn, which means they're going into the harvest season. From the summer, output expected to fall to the lowest levels on record. And if you look back at drought indices going back, say, 2,500 years, you'll start to see these mega drought episodes that seem to interlace and overlap with grand solar minimums. And Kevin Long at thelongview.com.au had also forecast using lunisolar techniques along with longer cycles of solar activity that Australia was going to experience a massive 7-year mega drought, and we're only the 3rd year into it, so this makes sense. Kevin Long, I encourage you to take a look at that interview I did in my playlist. 4 more years of excessive drought, and if they're already at the lowest on record, you know that next year is going to be, well, just as dismal. Another 3 to 4 years in the rainfall shall return, and then there'll be more crops grown. But even last year, Australia had to import wheat for the first time. I did a video on this very same article. That's why I'm referencing it here for you, because it had been 12 years prior when they had any types of terrible yields. But now they're needing to import. So then when we go back to absolutely zero exports going to be coming out of Australia for wheat, they're going to be importing, and then take a look at Australia's top 5 wheat buyers. So this is going to put excessive strain on Indonesia, Vietnam, China, South Korea, and Yemen. And China's already going to be down anyway, because I just don't know how they're going to be able to plant with everybody locked down in the country. They're coming into planting season in the southern part of the country right now. Guizhou, Guangdong, this whole area, they would be planting in and getting the fields ready right now, but nobody's going to be planting. So where is China going to get its wheat imports from? So it's going to be requiring excessive imports to make up for the lack in planting. Where's that going to come from? They lost a major supplier there. And also check out this anvil cloud coming out as well here. Spectacular. Almost looks like it's going into hyperdrive in interstellar space there. Amazing. Nature is always spectacular. And on the food front as well, EU, Brexit, the UK, oh, guess what? Biggest shakeup in farming in 40 years. See, this is a very subtle warning for those out there that potential disruptions post-Brexit, food, a quarter of Britain's food comes from the EU and nearly a fifth from other countries. So they're already saying, hey, food prices are going to rise, there's going to be disruptions. If you can't see that through the lines there, maybe if we wide it out a little bit into the next paragraph here, yellow, allowing the import of food produced to lower standards. There's been no binding commitment, so they're going to throw junk in there, and you're going to accept junk because you're not going to have the food in England and other parts of the UK, so something's better than nothing. You're about to get cut off, lower quality coming to you, higher prices, and shake up in farming. So I dug in here to where is the UK? Where do they get the meat? And this is only one of many types of edible products here, but the pork, the lamb, and the beef. And then again, you look to see where the EU might be affected on that pork. Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, France. And then lamb products over here, New Zealand, obviously, and Australia. Those are more further afield, but then we do get right there. Other areas that will have to be dealt with independently, and as well with the beef. Ireland, Netherlands, Germany. And you can already see they're warning the citizens. So what is it with the world right now? Food not enough, Grand Solar Minimum intensifying. I was talking years ago that they would lock the planet down about a year before global food shortages, and guess what's happening this year? Oh, the planet's getting locked down. Interesting timing. And here's a wild card that I never expected to see in print in The Guardian of all places. Cleaning up air pollution has made winters milder. And we were told it was CO2, global warming, to make everything milder. But here they're finding that less air pollution reduces the albedo effect, alters high wind patterns, and also reduces harsh winters. Because clear skies allow more sunlight to strike the surface of the planet versus, like in China, in a perpetual haze of pollution fog, albedo effect. And I really like this image here that was included in that article. They talk about 1947, so cold that farmers were using pneumatic drills to get parsnips out of the frozen earth. So again, as we come back into these some super freeze extremes during this Grand Solar Minimum, as we enter over the next decade and further afield into the future, will we have to use these same techniques? Well, hopefully you did something with vertical agriculture in your home, and it should be easier to get to because you can control the growing temperatures, the humidity, and you can also protect that and have it at your fingertips in the next room in your house. Now, I have been following this story, being enthralled by the Middle East record snow and cold, and here it is. I've done a previous video on this Iran buried in meters of snow after a major storm, but finally, now we're getting up to the northern areas in the Caspian Sea that were completely cut off. Some of these images were coming out just as the storm started, right during the storm, and then after. So Caspian Sea, far north, is where we're looking at here. Incredible amounts of snow, drifts, and it just locked down the country. But with the locusts going on, I also wanted to point this out. The flood situation in Iran as well, record floods throughout the entire year. Now we have record snowfall again. So it seems that the precipitation pattern has definitely shifted over this area. And if you look at the top of the map there where it's blue and then it turns into an ocean like the Caspian Sea, right along that coastline, and you can see exactly where it's dark blue is in the same exact areas these record snowfalls are happening. So guess what? As soon as this thaws and as soon as there's more vegetation in the desert, I bet the locusts are coming back here to nibble as well. So look for the return journey of the locusts coming through newly blooming areas as we get into the springtime across the Middle East. And now somebody who's been compiling all of these videos and images on the Iranian snowstorms. I linked everything in the description box below, but look how deep it was. Finally, a lot of this is coming to light. And the doors here, people needed to dig in through the snowdrift to get back home. And it's just a continuation. We keep seeing more extremes on the wind. We see more extremes on the precipitation, snow. It's going to get stronger as we move through these next couple of years. That's why the food production is being crushed across the planet. And maybe that's why we're moving to a new monetary system at the moment. And maybe that's why this planet is currently being locked down. Because here we are, Saudi Arabia shivers from record cold spell. And it's still continuing to snow up in Iran, even today on the 22nd. It's unbelievable, and it continues. So this is just a progression, and what I wanted to show you as we're moving through here. And we've seen these same types of images for the last 3 years. Now, what is it for these last 3 years that we suddenly start to see camels in snow year after year after year? And in southern Africa, we're seeing elephants in snow. And over at Electroverse, they're also picking up on it here, suffering record-breaking cold and snow in the desert. It's taking a little while to compile these images coming out through social media. It's not as easy to upload a lot of stuff in some of these areas where internet's more sparse. So they're finally being funneled through and they're consolidated. So 2016 was the all-time record cold wave that plunged the mercury to negative 4 degrees. Well, this one broke that record, minus 5 degrees. And as you see through many other regions as well, in Ha'il and Arar, Tarif, and even Riyadh with incredibly low temperatures. And on Severe Weather EU, they also have an entire rundown here. I was just choosing some of the best images to show you since the beginning of this, and it's still ongoing. I mean, this has been more than a week now. And a lot of these images here of the ice storms. Nobody on the corporate media is talking about these ice storms that had rolled through there, knocked out power in Hama Prefecture. I mean, you look at this looks like something straight out of Virginia ice storm in the middle of the winter, not Syria. And where's the disconnect with our corporate media not picking up on any of this? But what about these completely unusual record cold, record snows? I mean, obviously they focus on the locusts, but how much extra precipitation is causing all these plants to grow that's causing the locust outbreaks? There's a correlation here. Incredible shifts in rainfall, like on a 2,000-year pattern, are causing much denser vegetative growth in the deserts, and obviously these locusts are responding for the carrying capacity. And, after it reaches some equilibrium, then we'll start to see the locust decline. But until that point, it looks like they're going to even get around 2.0, especially, I'm saying, coming into spring. There's so much more moisture. And with all the craziness that we're seeing, and it's just going to be a matter of time before you are absolutely going to need to store more. The new February Adapt 2030 merch, you are going to need to store more. It's all about the sunspots condensed. But think about this. Cans of soup. What do you have for long-term food storage? Remember the water. You're going to need that too. My sponsor here, My Patriot Supply. 2-week grab-and-go food crate and the 4-week food supply. And as I have said several times before, this is one of the only companies that still does have supply in stock compared to across the internet landscape where so many smaller companies have already been completely bought out by institutional buyers. So My Patriot Supply, I received a personal message from the owner because I am one of their affiliates. I believe in their product, and they wrote me personally to say, that 2-day delivery that we used to offer, we're trying to keep up with that because now they're ordering 5 times as much from their suppliers to keep up with the orders that are coming in. Unbelievable, the grab for long-term food storage. I encourage you, whether you get it from here or you get to a supermarket, you need to store more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.